Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the channel Shelly's Millions. Today is the California EDD unemployment question and answer live. Before I get into the questions from channel members, a lot of you guys are getting that AX0000 message when you try and log in to certify for your benefits. In order to fix that, you need to click Forgot Password, and from there, you need to choose and reset a new password, and that should allow you to log in to certify for benefits. What else did I want to say here right at the beginning? Today was not your last day to certify. You will be able to certify for benefits either on August 5th when you certify for the week ending August 4th. Some of you may be asked to come back and certify on August 12th. September, we're already past August 4th. September 5th for the week ending September 4th. And some of you may even be asked to log in and certify for benefits on September 12th. You would be able to get paid for the week ending September 4th when you log on to certify, as long as you're otherwise eligible for benefits. Okay, I do have two questions from channel members. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday so far. I hope that a lot of you have found good jobs that you're excited about. Okay. Nikki says, how long does it take for ID documents to be verified once you upload them? It only takes less than 10 days for ID.me to get them verified, but then it can take up to 30 days for the EDD to verify your ID documents. Diane says the appeals board sent me a letter requesting ID and second proof of ID. I've done this 3 times. I faxed them, plus hard copies were mailed. I haven't been paid since December of 2020. Do I need to wait another 8 months to get an answer to prove that I'm not committing fraud? At this point, what I would do is involve your assembly member. I know that that's probably frustrating, but if they can help you, it shouldn't take 8 months. Let them know how many times you've sent the documents and find out what the holdup is. They have been really great in all this. I see Toya in here. I'm going to jump into your comments now. Myra says, if I certify for September 12th, will I still get the $300 boost? Okay, so the boost ends, the last time we're going to get that is the week ending September 4th. So if your certification date is September 12th, you'll have 1 week that would include the boost. And if you're on your program type is regular UI, not any of the extensions, then you would get 1 additional week without the boost. If you qualify for Fed Ed, this is going to be tricky. I just made a video on the qualifications for that yesterday. However, I don't think that the EDD, even though they're supposed to apply it automatically, it would shock the heck out of me if they actually rolled people over onto Fed Ed like in the middle of a certification cycle. What I think will happen is I think you'll have 1 week paid. I think the second week is going to say in A. Then hopefully about 5 business days later, you would get a notice that you're eligible for Fed Ed, and that would only pay out for 1 additional week, the week ending September 11th. But you may have to go back and certify for that week again since it's switching programs. And you guys are not going to like this, but you may need to call the EDD and request that extra week of Fed Ed, because I would just be really surprised if that rolls out smoothly. I also want to remind everybody that next week is a holiday weekend. And oftentimes, when it's a holiday weekend, even though everything's computerized and it really shouldn't be, there's a bug in my room and it's about to land on the microphone. I don't know what to do about that. Anyway, oftentimes we see delays in payments when it's a holiday weekend, even though we really shouldn't. And there will be a good amount of you that get paid with no problem, but some of you may say pending for a little longer than usual, and it may hit your bank account a little later than usual. I wouldn't start to worry about it unless the payments do not switch to paid. by Wednesday of that week. Okay. Vanjie says, I was never on FedEd, only had PEUC. I don't qualify for FedEd using the first option in the video from yesterday, but I do from the second of multiplying the highest quarter by 1.5. Will I get FedEd in time by the 11th or delay? I do kind of expect delays because when it brings you up to certify for benefits, it's going to be trying to certify under the PEUC extension. And so I feel like after you certify, it's going to take about 5 days to even receive notification. And that's if the EDD catches it and does everything that they're supposed to. But we've seen so many times in the past where we've had to call. So I do expect a delay on that extra week of FedEd. I would be pleasantly surprised. I would be so happy to be wrong on that, but that's kind of what I'm preparing for. Crazy Cat Lady, what a cute name, looked at my original awards letter and took my highest quarter and multiplied times 1.5. My total wages is higher. I get FedEd, no worries. As long as you have not already received 13 weeks under the FedEd program, and the only way I know to do that is to look at your transaction history and look at the program type for all of your payments. Some people already got 13 weeks of FedEd back in like September of 2020. Some people already got 13 weeks of FedEd in March of 2021. Some people were put on FedEd that shouldn't have been. The EDD is also supposed to fix that, but I do anticipate a little bit of a headache with that. But it does sound like you qualify as long as also your claim's not PUA, because PUA would not qualify for that. Jillian says, at this point, I think we should accept that no extension is coming. I think the EDD would have mentioned it by now. Plus, maybe they don't have the money to fund more weeks of PUA and PEUC. Yeah, unfortunately, I tend to agree. I don't think that we're going to have an unemployment extension given to us. And even if we did, there would definitely be gaps in payments, delays. We don't know how much or how many weeks, and they haven't said anything about intending to do that. And there was some very specific language used in a Facebook post from the EDD, and that very specific language said, we have funds available for these programs, and it's the rental assistance, rental relief programs through Housing is Key, extra food stamps, SNAP benefits, CalFresh. That's all really the same program. The language was indicating, hey, we have money left for these funds, and it implied, but not left for extended unemployment benefits. I do wish that they would come out and make an official statement about that. And guys, Jenny Silver has a petition. I wish I had a moderator that I could pay to help. Please sign Jenny Silver's change.org petition. Search in the YouTube search bar Jenny Silver petition, and that video should come up. And in the video is the link to sign the petition. I also made like a community post. So from like the channel page, you guys could find my community post and I linked to the petition there. I, of course, have signed that petition. You guys are like, Shelly, sign it. I have signed it. And I've shared it far and wide. I'm on TikTok. You guys can follow me there. I've shared it on TikTok. The Facebook unemployment message boards that I'm on, I've shared it there. I do think it's a good idea to sign that. I also think it's a really good idea to tweet at Gavin Newsom using the hashtag #ExtendEDD to try and bring attention to the fact that a lot of us still need extended unemployment benefits. Joel says, I qualify for FedEd, but I'm worried about it. I'm not worried that I won't get paid because I will provide 3 job searches. I am worried that it'll take forever to get that extension. I hope not. I hope not too. I do think that there will be delays. Guys, that is only a 1-week extension. The wording is up to 13 weeks, but like these other programs, it's going to expire the week ending September 11th. So we won't be able to collect any FedEd benefits after that, after September 11th. And even that 1 week is not going to include the $300 boost. Andrew, good morning. You want my opinion? You saw my Fed Ed formula yesterday. You're eligible, but since I'm already working, I might end up getting excessive earnings. Should I certify anyway or leave it? Guys, always certify. I kind of think that once you go back to work, you should certify for about a month or 2 certification cycles after you've returned to work. Just certify. And if you qualify, then that's great. And if you get the excessive earnings warning, you won't get it, but let them tell you, hey, you're not going to qualify. Like, at least log on, certify, and see if you will qualify. These are the same flowers from last week. They're still alive. That's awesome. Okay. Good morning, Scotty. You got paid for 1 week and the other week excessive earnings. Told me to come back next week to certify for the last week of PEUC. I guess they are making everyone certify on 9/4. That's interesting. That's something that I had wondered about. So thank you for sharing that with me. That is also, in my opinion, there's going to be a lot more people certifying then on the 5th than usual. So there's going to be problems logging in. So let's go over those tips now. Like the server is probably going to get busy and be overloaded. So a couple things you can try if that happens is you can try clearing your browser history on your phone. If you certify from your phone or from a desktop, try using UI on mobile instead of UI online. Even if you're on your mobile device, select mobile, tell it that. Even if you're on a laptop, select mobile. Try a different device, try a friend's device, or try and find an old email from the EDD and use that link to log in to certify. That may be some tips. Otherwise, we may just have to wait. It's going to be overloaded. But even if you can't certify, even if for some reason you can't log on to certify on the 5th, when you log on the 6th on Monday, as long as it lets you log in, you'll be able to still certify for the week ending September 4th. Uh-oh. Oh my God, guys, I lost my place. So you guys know that means to please like the video. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Spencer's asking, did they put out an extension? They have not. Lanto says, hey. Paula says, hey. Pamela says, good morning. Good morning, all of you. Okay, Brian says, I'm scared. I've been applying everywhere and no one is hiring. It's maddening. After September 4th, what will I do? I would do Uber or Lyft, but my old 1997 car isn't qualified. I'm in deep trouble. Could you qualify to do DoorDash or Instacart or one of those where you don't actually have to have people in the car? Look at remote work and continue applying. If you guys have any hobbies that you can pivot, turn them into YouTube channels, um, things like that, where maybe you could be your own boss, try that out. Like, whatever you're good at, if you can teach someone else how to do it, there is money. There's also websites like Fiverr. If you're good at writing a resume, you could write someone else's resume. There's voiceover work. Take a look on fiverr.com to see what sort of services other people offer, and maybe that'll spark some ideas. There's all kinds of categories. So if you're good at anything, you might be able to make some money as at least as a side hustle, at least to try and help you get by. Also, do visit Housing is Key. Try and get that rental assistance. Make sure that you're signed up for food stamps. Try and get the help that you guys need. William says, since last week, I ran out of a claim balance and I'm at $0. EDD hasn't adjusted it. I'm on PEUC extension tier 2. I can't certify. So unfortunately, that is something that would require a call to the EDD. So I have the claimer linked as the pinned comment. It's in the description down below. If you guys are through calling the EDD, I also have it linked on how to find your assembly member, and they are often very helpful getting you paid without the hassle of phone calls. If you use your assembly member, they often respond in 2 days or about 48 hours. If it's something that they can fix, which that should be, that you just don't have the certify button, or that you can't, that your balance has been at 0 and it just needs to be reloaded with the next extension, that should be an easy fix for your assembly member. After they originally get in contact with you, they could potentially have that fixed in as little as 4 days. Okay, Mike, I worked 6 months prior to being unemployed. That means I worked for 18 months. I've been unemployed for 14 months. Will I get another 26 weeks? I got an award letter till 2022. This is a great question. It's something that's coming up a lot. If you got a new award letter, was it a lower weekly benefit amount? You need to have received a DNCP notice, delayed new claim payment notice, in order to truly qualify for that new claim. If you haven't worked at all since you first filed for benefits, I know that they look back 18 months in terms of making you file a new claim. But if you haven't worked at all since you first filed for benefits, you're not supposed to qualify for a new claim. You would have received an award letter anyway. If you didn't qualify for a new claim, they should have also sent you a 1277 letter determination of invalid claim. So, with your award letter, one of three things should have happened. One, they put you on the new claim. That would happen if your weekly benefit amount was exactly the same or it didn't decrease by more than $25. Then they would actually put you on the new claim. If you qualified for a new claim, but your weekly benefit amount decreased by more than $25, the EDD should have sent you a DNCP delayed new claim payment notice. If you got that notice, your new claim at the lower weekly benefit amount with no $300 boost would start the week of September 5th. The third thing that could happen would be that you didn't qualify for a new claim. You would have still received an award letter, but then either before or after, you would have also received a 1277 determination of invalid claim letter. If you got the 1277 determination of invalid claim, then you didn't truly qualify for a new claim. Also, let's go back to scenario number one, where your benefit amount didn't decrease by more than $25, so you were put on the new claim. In that scenario, you would see a benefit year end date. You said you applied in April, so that would be April of 2022. You would be able to certify on your claim because it should show program type UI. So if your program type is UI, you can certify for benefits until your claim balance reaches 0, which would be a little bit past September 4th, not too many weeks, but it would be maybe a couple of weeks past September 4th. But after September 4th, it's not going to include the extra $300 a week boost. I hope that made sense. I hope that answered that question. Daniel, I received your Golden State stimulus via check, and you have direct deposit on my tax return. I have a dependent and will receive now Golden State stimulus too for the $500. Where can I call to receive direct deposit? I'm not sure if you can call to switch your banking method or your deposit method. It's my understanding that you're kind of just going to need to wait until you get that payment, until either it's not sent via direct deposit, and then the checks are going to start going out in October, and then all the way through December if you get a physical check. Myra, you're welcome. Kenneth, do I think the progressives in Congress could include unemployment extension to the $3.5 trillion budget? Could it pass House, but face opposition in Senate by Manchin and Sinema? I know that AOC wants, and Bernie Sanders, they want to push for unemployment benefits. But it's going to be very unlikely. It doesn't have the support that it really needs. And even in the article that I read where it talked about, please tell me I screenshotted that, where it talked about AOC pushing for that, it said that even if it passes through the House, that it wouldn't be anytime soon, basically. Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Here's some quotes for that. But such an effort could also inject more chaos into a legislative process that Democratic leaders want to choreograph with as few errors as possible due to their narrow majorities. Ba, 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 ba. I did screenshot this. Okay. What we have right now is the Biden administration has indicated that it's almost unwilling to extend the unemployment assistance program in the event of a pandemic. We have a Senate that doesn't want to do it, a White House that doesn't want to do it, and it will take a very engaged House. She conceded that any successful effort would come well after Labor Day. So even if they're able to push something through, not anytime soon. And I definitely wouldn't count on it because there's not a lot of support behind it. But anything is possible, but I think that's unlikely. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, so if you guys could like the video while I do that, that'd be awesome. Sherry says, I can't believe they're ending everything. Good luck to everyone. Yeah, and prayers. Guys, we're going to get through this. We are. It might be tough, but we will get through it. Okay, Sherry. Oh, we just read Sherry's. Myra says, got direct deposit. Haven't received anything yet on the Golden State Stimulus 2. Praying soon, though. Yes, I haven't gotten mine either, and I should qualify. Michael says, happy Sunday. I'm good. Are there any new movies that I recommend? Okay, this is terrible. This is the exact business that's killing movie theaters, but I just watched Cruella and it's so good. It came out, it's now free if you have a Disney Plus subscription. PS, obviously, like I want to talk about finance, so I will be telling you guys to all cut your subscriptions. Maybe go to your pod that you spent quarantine with, see if any of them have Disney Plus, and make a day of it and go over there and watch Cruella. I really enjoyed that. What else did I want to say? If you guys have AT&T as your cell phone provider, you actually get Disney Plus. No, that's not right. Which one does Disney Plus come for free? I lied. But you do get HBO Max for free with AT&T. That doesn't help in terms of seeing Cruella though. But I did really enjoy Cruella and it's now free with a Disney Plus subscription. XVal says, how long does back pay normally take? Let's say I did it today. What should I expect to hear? It could take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months for you to hear if you qualified for back pay. So that is going to be a lengthy process. It's not necessarily something that an assembly member can speed up. You could try that route, but that's normally doesn't work for speeding up the backdate approval request, and it could take quite some time to hear. Anne says it's not right. We have these balances and they say there's no money. The money should be ours. This money will go back to the government. How is this fair? It's not necessarily fair, but that's how the Congress wrote the rules. So really, really, it's not even like the EDD's fault because this was set up on the federal level. And that's why I'm encouraging everyone to tweet at Gavin Newsom, use the hashtag #ExtendEDD, and sign Jenny Silver's petition to try and gain attention that Californians need unemployment benefits extended. And guys, I've seen the comments. There's probably somebody in here that I just haven't seen that's like, get a job. Guys, it's not that easy. Many of you have children that are in school, and one day they're in school, and the next day they have to quarantine for 10 days because they were exposed to the virus. Jobs don't like that. It makes it difficult. There is extra sick pay, or there should be, if you're not able, like if you have a job and you need to call out, there should be extra sick pay available, but it's up to 80 hours and it's certain size companies and corporations. And that's just going to make it tough. Some people are immunocompromised and can't take the vaccine. There's just so many reasons. Some people are really holding out to try and find a livable wage, and I understand that. Um, but sometimes something is better than nothing. And I am going to say this in terms of the low wage jobs. Having some income is probably going to be better than having no income. And I also really believe that you can work your way up. Sometimes a job that is not so great can become like a really wonderful job. That's my story. I started off scooping popcorn, cleaning auditoriums, sweeping floors, selling tickets at the movie theater, and I still do all that, but I'm a manager and I love it. I love my coworkers. Um, our customers are pretty good. Like, I really love it. So sometimes these jobs that don't seem like a great job can maybe turn into something. And I'm sure some people are gonna have to take 2 jobs. I know some of my coworkers that aren't quite getting the hours that they want. They're gonna be working at the movie theater and driving for Uber and things like that. But I believe in you guys. I believe that people in general, we're gonna find a way to survive and take care of the things that we need to. And I believe in you, and I hope that you don't have to work yourself to death, right? That's not the goal. But I believe that you'll do what is necessary and that it will lead to something fulfilling. At least that's my hope, and I do want to be optimistic, at least in that regard. Okay. Also, with the Housing is Key program, I interviewed the guy that like runs the program. His name's Russ. And it wasn't on Zoom, but I have the answers to his question. And I was like, well, when does that end? When does the money for rent relief end? And I know some people haven't started getting it, but he told me until the money runs out. And there's actually a fair amount of money in that program. So make sure that you sign up for rent relief, rental assistance through Housing is Key. I will say one thing. Um, a lot of you guys are current on your rent. If you're using the online form, it makes it appear that you're not eligible for help if you're not already behind on your rent. But he told me to call and try and get help with future rent because if you're approved for rental assistance, it pays up to 12 months of back rent plus up to 3 months at a time for future rent. And yes, if you already got help with some rent, you can get more help for your rent. So call them and have them help you with that because online it kind of stops you if you're not already behind. But he told me that you could potentially get help with future rent. So definitely at least explore that as an option. Elizabeth said, when I received my letter adding my 29 weeks, it was retroactive back to 5/9/2021. However, they disqualified the weeks from 5/9 to 5/22. Should I try to get paid for those 2 weeks? Yes, but the easiest way to do that is going to be through your assembly member. Um, it's probably has to do with like probably when they put you on the extension was probably right around when your benefit year ended. There was probably a delay in when you applied for the new benefit year. If they kept you on extension, it sounds like they didn't approve the new claim, or they'll be giving you a DNCP notice. But that's probably why those 2 weeks didn't get paid. There was maybe just a delay in when you filed the new claim. But yeah, that money's yours and try and get that. But use the assembly member is going to be your best bet through that. You're going to get the runaround if you try and call the EDD customer service reps. Madeline says, you just wanted to thank me. 19 months. That's a long time, guys. I never in a Shelly's million of years would have thought that I would done still be talking about unemployment this far into things. And you guys thanks a million for watching and for trusting me to get you guys good information. I really appreciate all of you and have really connected with a lot of you throughout this process. And you're very welcome. Okay, Adam says, your year ended, you were at a zero balance, but it let me certify and gave me my full payment. Will I get the money tomorrow if I certified today? Possibly. Um, if it switched to paid, you should still get it paid tomorrow. It normally when you file a new claim, it stays pending for about 3 weeks while they send your new claim to a third party for review. While that happens, the whole claim kind of stops while they while it gets reviewed, and then after 3 weeks, they release the payments. But yes, continue to certify for benefits, because eventually when you find out if you're approved for the new claim or not, after it's completed that third-party review, you would still be owed these payments even if they're pending. So that's another really important thing to mention, that even if you have pending payments for weeks ending before September 4th, that even if the EDD doesn't determine that you're eligible until September 30th, that's when they have to pay out the pending payments through the conditional payment pay now program. So even if it's September 30th before those pending switch to paid, you will still get paid for those weeks as long as they determine that you're eligible. All right, George. The federal extra 300 stops next week, September 4th. And even if you have a balance, if your program type says anything other than UI, you will no longer have access to that balance. Well, unless you got the DNCP letter and unless you qualify for the 1 week of Fed Ed. But for a lot of us, people are getting tripped up because it keeps saying federal benefits are ending. And everyone knows that, or most everyone knows that the federal boost, the $300 boost, is a federal program. But a lot of people are missing that the weekly benefit amount, if it's paid out under anything other than UI, it's really a federal program as well. So the weekly benefit amount could end as well if that is PUA, PEUC, Extension Tier 2, or Extension Tier 2 augmentation. Fed Ed program type will go through up to 13 weeks or the week ending September 11th. Uh-oh, I lost my place again. Thank you for saying that you love the shirt. It's got a little butterfly on it right there in the middle. Butterflies for like hope and new beginnings and transformations. Okay. Uh-oh. All right. Hello, everyone. I'm scrolling back up while I try and find my place. Slap says, so today is the last day for the $300 unemployment. No, next week is. So even if you don't certify until the 5th for the week ending September 4th, when you certify for the week ending September 4th, it will still include the $300 boost. Yep, JJD55 says you certified and it says your next certification is next Sunday. Thanks for all the help. You are welcome. Okay, so that's good news. Okay. Richie Boy says certified today and it said check back on the 5th. Hopefully I get the extra 300 on the 5th. The 5th will include the extra $300 a week boost. All right, Tyrone says I'm heading back to school to get my certs up. All right, good on you. Yeah, and a lot of you might want to pursue. You guys know I watch a lot of Graham stuff, and he's like, you can learn anything on YouTube. Now, some things need like a certification or a license, and if that's your situation, you would need to go to proper school. But a lot of things can be self-taught these days. So, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. I don't mean to imply that things are going to be easy, but I do believe that we're going to get through them. But yeah, explore something that you're passionate about while you're working a job or 2 jobs that is not your ideal situation. I'm kind of taking random questions as I scroll back up to where I lost my place. Lola says, will unemployment be extended? Probably not. I do encourage everyone to tweet at Gavin Newsom using hashtag extend EDD. I think we need to draw attention to the fact that we need the benefits to be extended. Miss Pretty Lady says hello. Karen. Karen's reminding everybody to hit the like button. I would certainly love that if you did. Anne says, I have applied to so many jobs for remote and nobody answers. This is ridiculous. It's going to be hard, but don't lose hope. Just keep applying and something will turn up for you that is the right fit. Malagu, is there any unemployment extension? As of right now, there's not. George got paid. Justin says, thank you. You are welcome. Lulu says, good morning. Oh, am I caught up? I am. Adam says, my claim year ended. I was at zero balance, but it let me certify and gave me my full payment amount. Okay. So only if it switches to paid. If it's zero balance, but you're within your benefit year, they will roll you over onto the next extension automatically without doing any additional steps. It will just change programs. But if your benefit year ended and you filed a new claim, like if your benefit year ended this week, you would need to file a new claim, and that could take like up to 3 weeks. But eventually, when you eventually, even if it gets stuck on pending, when it switches to paid, you would still get paid for the week ending September 4th, even if it's a little tricky while you're switching programs. I hope that made sense. GB Love says, for regular UI, and I am an extension. I've only been reporting one job search each week and I'm getting paid. Do I need to do 3 job searches a week for next time? Okay, so that's another very good point. Okay, so it looks like they're going to be asking everybody to come back and certify for the week ending September 4th on the 5th. So on the 5th, it would still be just one job search. If you're somebody that qualifies for the Fed Ed extension, that's going to be 3 job searches, and that does need to be input on UI Online. They don't give you the option when you're Fed Ed to keep track in another method, so keep that in mind. But I don't think the transition from PEUC, extension tier 2 augmentation, any of those, I don't think it's going to go smoothly. And that is just going to be one additional week of Fed Ed. And that is if you meet the earnings requirements and if you have not already received 13 weeks of Fed Ed on your claim. But yes, people on Fed Ed have to enter 3 job searches a week. Exiles, we did that. So anytime on back pay for unemployment request, it's going to take anywhere between a couple of weeks to a couple of months. That's going to be a pretty lengthy process. I'm going to take another sip of coffee. So while I do that, if you guys could like the video, I would appreciate it. Okay. Jacqueline, Jacelyn, I always mess this up. You certified last night and only got paid for 1 week. What does that mean? It could be that you're switching between programs right now. I don't love that this is happening to some people, but yeah, if you're at the end of available benefits on one extension, they would be rolling you over to another extension next week. And this is totally possible, right? Let's go through this scenario. If you just now ran out of extension tier 2 PEUC benefits today, or for the first week, then the EDD would need to roll you over onto extension tier 2 augmentation. That would be for the week that said NA and for next week. And then even though you got a letter that tells you qualify for 29 weeks, your claim balance would be loaded up with 29 weeks of benefits, but you're not going to have access to those benefits. You're not going to be able to use those benefits. And then they could potentially roll you over for 1 week of Fed Ed. So it's going to get a little hairy for some people who are transitioning between program types right now. And if it's like the end of your benefit year ended the first week, like 1 week could be within your benefit year and the second week could be outside of your benefit year, you would still need to file a new claim, even though we're this close to the end. And it takes 3 weeks for that claim to complete that third-party review. Adam says you have 7 weeks pending and you do have money in your balance. Why haven't I gotten paid? It can be a lot of different reasons. 7 weeks actually sounds right about the timing for that quarterly review. So if it hasn't been paid since July 10th, That is most likely due to quarterly review, and if you call the EDD, they are open today. That should be an easy fix. Now I know it's still not going to be easy to get through to the EDD, so you can try Claimer, or with 7 weeks pending, a really good option is going to be to email your assembly member, and I have that linked in the description down below. Gordo says, what about Nevada? Nevada will also be ending everything September 4th. I don't think they even have extended benefits available to have an avenue to have 1 extra week of benefits. So Nevada, everything ends the week ending September 4th, unless you are in the very first 26 weeks of a brand new claim, or I'm not sure, it should be called the DNCP program even in Nevada, but I'm not sure how they would have notified people for that. So if you filed a new claim, but your benefit amount was lowered by $25 or more, and you got a delayed new claim payment notice or whatever the Nevada equivalent of that notice is, then your new claim would start the week ending, the week beginning September 5th. Okay. Sorry, my glasses are doing weird things. Okay. Oh, the Reyes family. Good morning. Oscar says, there are jobs, but they're not paying living wages. I have a family to support. I lost a good job because of everything. Sad. Yes, but Oscar, I really believe, I have to believe, I'm hopeful that it's going to work out. I think it's going to be a little bit tight for a while, but I'm just really hoping that everything does eventually work out. I don't want you guys to lose hope. So maybe take a job or two that you wouldn't normally, but keep looking for a dream job and one that pays a living wage. Anne says, I was PEUC, got to the year end, filed a new claim the first week of July, got the new claim, still PEUC. Award balance dropped for no reason. Balance has been 0 since the second week of August. What should I do? If the balance has been 0 since the second week of August and you're not able to certify, you do need to call the EDD and say, hey, my balance never increased. What happened? I haven't been able to certify. Or have you been able to certify? Either way, if you're not getting paid, you do either need to call the EDD or enlist the help of your assembly member to make sure that you're getting paid and let them know that your balance hasn't increased. Once they get that sorted out, though, even if they don't get it sorted out until after September 4th, you will still get paid once they get it sorted out. Audrey says, oh, thank you for posting the MEUC phone number. After 1 call to that number, you received the application within the week. You're very welcome. Reyes family, what the government is doing is that they are not going to pass or give an extension because they want most people to get to work and see the work report 2 months from now. Yeah, this is going to have really far-reaching effects. Even in the states that ended benefits early, there was a decrease in spending by $2 billion. And I know that the number that we see a lot is 7.5 million people are going to be losing benefits entirely. Now, that's not just in California, that's across the nation with all the federal benefits ending. For 7.5 million people, they're going to go from having something to having absolutely nothing. But the number of people who are going to see decreased income, I read, was 20 million people. 20 million. Because remember, a lot of you guys know this, a lot of you are back to work part-time, so you've still been certifying for benefits. Maybe your weekly benefit amount hasn't been that great, but it's including the $300 a week boost. So for 20 million people that are working part-time, reduced hours, that kind of thing, there's no more boost. So even the people that have traditional claims that are going to continue, they are going to take a huge hit to their income. It's insane. 20 million people are going to see reduced income. And even that $300 weekly boost, that's $1,200 a month. That is rent for a lot of people. I know rent's high in California, but a lot of people, when you look at the nationwide number, it's gonna have a far-reaching effect. And I do tend to think that if when there's new jobs reports and spending reports and profit and loss from companies, when they see that people aren't able to spend as much money, if the stock market crashed, something like that happened because businesses' profits were suffering, then I think they may look at re-implementing something. But yeah, it's going to take time for them to realize that and even consider extending unemployment benefits. Mike says, I never got the DNCP letter or the 1277 letter, and my weekly benefit amount stayed the same. Okay, so Mike, does your benefit year end date, like it says the start date, and then it would either say, I just hit my elbow, and then it should say the end date. Or it would say on extension. So do you see an end date or do you see the words on extension? On extension generally means that they kept you on extension. If you see an end date of 2022, that means that you're already being paid under the new claim and that your program type should say UI. So go to history, then transactions, click the blue hyperlink under transactions, and that will show you what program type you were paid under. And if that says UI, then your payments will continue until your claim balance hits 0. Dan Tan, do I think we'll get another federal stimulus? No. I don't tend to think we'll get that either, like a one-time check from the federal government. I don't, and part of the reason why I don't think that is because a lot of the news articles that I'm reading have said, "Oh, because okay, if I know that Biden said that if states had money left over, that they could extend the PEUC and PUA programs, but not the $300 a week boost. California's money is already allocated. So unless we take money from another program, we won't be able to do that." But there was another article because even if states did have money left over, and even if they wanted to extend benefits, how much money, how many weeks? And so the article that I read, which has guidance from the Department of Labor, the dole, who's pretty much like the EDD's boss. It's like all the state's unemployment office's boss, the Department of Labor. They said that one way that any remaining funds could be used to help those of us on unemployment would be by issuing one-time checks. But then it went on to be like, oh, but California has already done that. And indeed, part of these Golden State stimulus check funds that have been given to us used part of the American Rescue Plan's funding to do that. It was partially an excess of funds, revenue from the state of California, but also part of our stimulus money that we were given. So I think that rather than see something on the federal level, that they're going to try and leave it up to states to give additional stimulus checks to people, and California has already done that via the Golden State stimulus. So I don't think another stimulus check is coming, not from the federal level, and in the state of California, probably not from the state level either. Musings of Serendipity said I got my $500. That is awesome. George, so the extra 300 is ending next week. If your program type is PUA, which will also often say disaster assistance, or DUA, if your program type says PEUC, if it says extension tier 2, if it says extension tier 2 augmentation, you will not even have access to your weekly benefit amount after September 4th. Those are all federally funded programs, and so you won't have access to that money anymore. I think it gets returned to the federal government. Then, if your program type says Fed Ed, it's going to depend, or you haven't received Fed Ed yet. It's going to depend on if You've already used 13 weeks of Fed Ed on your claim. If you have, then your payments would also stop September 4th. If you haven't used all 13 weeks or you haven't gotten Fed Ed yet and you qualify, then you would get one more week of benefits through the week ending September 11th. But those weekly benefit amounts for a lot of us are disappearing as well. And the other possibility for things continuing is if you receive that DNCP notice. Ms. Pretty Lady says, hi. Oh, no. Jocelyn says, Jacqueline? Says, my husband's claim still says reopen claim. He hasn't gotten paid since 7/18. They said it could take 2 weeks, but if it's after September 4th, will he still get all that back pay? Yes, as long as he otherwise is eligible for benefits, yes. Even if they don't get everything sorted out until after September 4th, let's say they don't get it sorted out till September 15th, he would still get all the money that he is owed for weeks prior to September 4th. Hi, Tyrone. Gregory says John Wyden of Oregon says that there are talks going on with Joe Manchin. Well, that is good. That is good. But even by the $300 boost is most likely going to end. And even Biden said that there are talks for like reform. And AOC wants to extend unemployment benefits. But even if something happened, it would be so far after September. It's just going to be a little tricky. Everything that I've read to right now, even AOC says the White House doesn't want to do it and the Senate doesn't do it. And there is, I'm sure, especially this last week before everything is set to expire, there's going to be a lot of politicians saying one thing one day and somebody else will say something another day. And we never know for sure if it'll be extended or not until we know. But right now, from everything that I've read, it's not looking likely. Okay. Anne says, I've been pending since March. I finally have my phone interview, but I'm still pending. Am I disqualified? No. They should have sent you a letter, though. They have 10 business days to send you a letter. So really by August 21st, they probably should have sent you a letter letting you know if you're eligible for benefits or not. Dan Tan says, is anyone else voting for me, Kevin? Do you guys want to talk about this recall election for 2 seconds? Whether you're for or against the recall, please select someone for part 2. A lot of people are saying, oh, don't fill out part 2. They're saying it's okay to skip it. But what happens is if the majority of the state votes yes on the recall, the governor's position goes to whoever has the most votes out of section 2. So if you leave the section where you select like an alternate basically, or your choice if you're voting yes on the recall. Well, if you're voting yes on the recall, you got to select somebody from that list. But basically, even if you vote no on the recall, if the rest of California is for the recall and you don't choose who you want to fill that seat in case the recall goes through, it's kind of like wasting your vote. So I do recommend picking somebody. I'm not really a political person. I'm a course member for Meet Kevin. I did watch his debate. I think he's got a lot of good ideas, but I felt, and maybe you guys feel like this when I'm like, ooh, coldest water or Yada Bank or whatever. I felt like he was really like, hey guys, go to my website. Hey guys, do this. Like, and this is his first time running. I think he's excited, but it came off a little salesman-y to me. But in terms of the other choices, he might be a good fit. Do your own research on who you would want in case California votes yes on the recall. But if you vote no, still fill out an alternate name. Look into Meet Kevin. Look into the other candidates. Angeline, who's I think from Los Angeles, she drives like a pink Corvette and wears pink all the time. She's running too. I don't think we should vote for Angeline, but it's kind of funny. A lot of people running. Look into them. Figure it out on your own. But whether you vote yes or no on the recall, I do recommend filling out the second section and selecting an alternate. Okay. End rant on governor. Musings of Serendipity says unemployment should definitely be extended. I agree. Please tweet at Gavin Newsom using hashtag extend EDD and sign Jenny Silver's petition. My friend is an admin assistant at a school and 2 classes are out for Delta. I have more friends that have kids. It's the same. There's 1 to do classes closed for 20 days. Yeah, and that is not realistic for I realize that they're covered, right? Like somebody shouldn't be able to be fired for that. That should be protected if they're going into a workplace. But it is going to make it tricky for everyone. It's going to make it tricky for your employer to schedule you. Like if you're on one day and then out for 20, it is hard to find remote work. I kind of agree. I'm sure that people are going to be hesitant about getting kids vaccinated, but I think until there's an approved vaccine at minimum, I think that it's silly. I don't think that we should be risking it. And I think unemployment benefits should be extended until they can get that under control. Like, how crazy is that? Like, one day your kid's in school, the next day they're home for 20 days. This is crazy. And then they could go back to school, get exposed again, and then be out for another 20 days. Like, what are they thinking? Like, what's the rationale? I don't get it. I don't get that at all. Okay. Sorry, I get a little ranty. Oh, I've been talking for almost an hour. So it is time for me to start skipping around in the comments. Let's look at Anne Marie's at 11:26, and then I'm going to start skipping around closer to the bottom to try and catch some of you guys that are still in here. And if you haven't already, please like the video. Anne says, you had to file a new claim and it just ran out today. FedEd extension. I used FedEd in 2020 on my initial claim. Is it one and done or does it go by claim year? If you qualified for a whole new claim and you've been on that, then I think you can get FedEd again. However, before you got FedEd, you have to use up any available extensions that you would be eligible for. So the EDD could put you, and we ran through this earlier, I don't know if you heard it. So if your new claim just ran out today, they would be switching you first to PEUC for 1 week, the week ending September 4th. What do I want to say about that? It's going to load up your whole balance with which extension is that? That's going to be the 13-week extension, but you won't have access to that. So you get PEUC for 1 week. Then after that week, then you would see if you would be eligible for 1 more week of FedEd. And I don't think that's going to happen smoothly. I would be very surprised if it did. Very happy, but very surprised. So you may have to fight for that 1 week of FedEd. I do think you'd qualify though on the new claim. I think it's once per claim, per new claim. All right. Okay. Scrolling all the way down to the end. Uh-oh. PUA. I know someone named PUA. Uh-oh. Oh, dear. I don't know, but there is a lot of crazy stuff going on. Okay. Ex-vals. If you applied today or 2 days from now, would you still be paid up until September 4th, including back pay? Even yes, ex-vals. Yes. Once you're approved for the back pay for any weeks that the EDD determines that you're eligible for the weeks ending prior to September 4th. So let's say that for whatever reason, you guys have not requested backdating on your claim. The furthest back you can request is December 6th of 2020. It's too late to go back any further than that at this point in time. But let's say you just now realized that you could potentially use Ask EDD to request backdating. It could take them between 2 weeks to a few months to determine if you're approved to get that back pay or not. But once they make a decision, you could potentially be paid all the weeks that you weren't paid between December 20th and when your claim actually started, if you're approved for that back pay. Real Talk 2021 says, I was on UI and in July was changed to EBU, but still have money left in my UI account. What's going to happen with me? I don't know what EBU is? Extended benefits. What state are you in? Okay, Charles, you work full-time, you have a side hustle as an independent contractor and have an LLC. Can I apply for unemployment? Possibly, but did you get let go from your W-2 job? If you're working full-time, you wouldn't be able to get unemployment benefits. Jay says, I filed today, but I have $864 left and I was PUA. No, probably not. I'm maybe not understanding the question. Oops. You filed, like you had a new claim? PUA shouldn't have to file a new claim today. PUA claims go until the week ending September 4th, for sure. That should say your benefit year-end date. And on PUA, you could try to file a new claim after September 4th, but you wouldn't qualify unless you had done traditional W-2 work since first filing your original claim. Okay, Charles, you asked your question a few times, so I'm going to hide you for a second. Oops. Uh-oh. All right. I don't know. I only meant to put you on a timeout. Can I change that? No. Uh-oh. I'm sorry. I only meant to put you on a timeout. Let's see if that works. Okay. Depeche Mark says, I have 5 weeks that say not paid from a few months ago. I had a phone interview and she saw that I had 8 weeks not paid. She said she would release them, but only 3 weeks were released. I would give it a couple of days and see if the other ones get released as well. And if not, then I would reach out to your assembly member and see if they can help you get those remaining weeks switched to paid. Guys, if you could please not spam the chat, please only ask your question once every 15 minutes maximum. I will try and get to as many questions as I can. I'm going to go for maybe 10 more minutes and then I need to go today. But yeah, please only ask your question maximum once every 15 minutes. There's a lot of questions. Unfortunately, I cannot get to them all. Jay says, it's Joanne. Everything worked out. The dole just underwent construction, so I'm at sorts as to our new governor, Kathy Hochul, approving state funding, doing my work to find work as it is. Okay. All right, well, I hope you find work. John says, thanks for everything. Your new claim started in April 2021 and ends in May of 2022. So what happens after September 4th? Okay, so you will be able to certify for benefits until your claim balance hits 0. So for you, that'll be a few weeks after September 4th. That might couple weeks after, maybe the first couple weeks of October. Whenever your claim balance hits 0, that's when your claim is done. However, after September 4th, it won't include the $300 weekly boost anymore. So that's that situation that I was just talking about where you'll be one of the 20 million people, not the 7.5 that are totally losing everything. Your benefits will continue, but your income is going to greatly decrease because your payments won't include that extra $300 a week boost anymore. Maggie says, is disaster assistance Fed Ed? No, disaster assistance is PUA. It's interesting that you had to put 3 job searches. I had to put 3 job searches as well. The EDD told Jenny Silver in writing that that's actually an error and that you're only required to do 1. Hi, Daniel. I haven't seen you in here in a while. Hi, Tiffany. Gavin Newsom cheated on his wife. People are disappointing. Hi, Heidi. Heidi's been working super hard at the theater. Heidi went on a date. How'd the date go, Heidi? Heidi is off in that dating world. People often think that I look like Heidi, especially when we're both wearing all black. I work with Heidi. She's always going on dates. I'm like, man, I can't do it anymore. Callie Love says, I don't think anything will be extending. A lot of businesses have been complaining that people don't want to return to work due to unemployment. That's one of the reasons why Congress isn't as um, willing to extend benefits right now. They're kind of getting it from both sides. They're getting it from employers saying, "Hey, we can't find employees." And then they're getting it from the unemployed saying, "Hey, like we can't go back to work right now while everything's crazy." All right, Karen says, "Knowing that this money was ending before my business is back to before COVID prevents me from spending money on anything except rent, groceries, etc." Yeah, and I think that's a good plan, to save and prepare. That's kind of what I've been encouraging people to do all along. I like Yada Bank for saving. You guys know that over the past year, I've gotten like 300 extra dollars by having my money in that account. So if you guys are able to save, I do like Yada Bank. I have them linked all the time as well. Now I'm just like me, Kevin. I'm just promoting something, but I'm promoting it because I believe in it and I think it's good. I do think we should save as much money as possible, and we might as well put it in a bank that works for us. Okay. Bad grandpa is just stopping by to say hi. He got a job driving trucks and going back to work soon. JM says, "Can you explain how PUA reassessment came about? It's on the federal benefits EDD page." JM, I'm going to have to look at that. Is that Are you talking about, like, needing to provide proof of employment? There's a bug in here still. Um, so they have to do that because it was requested by the dole and they should have done it before. Uh-oh, John, I don't wanna be depressing. Thank you, JM, for the flowers because of the flowers in the back. Um, Slap says, "My job has enough workers, so that means I can stay on unemployment till September 6th." Okay. Um Michelle says, "With YouTube, there's no excuse not to learn anything. Love YouTube." You can certainly learn a lot. I will say, because some of you guys are like, oh, Jose, let me answer your question. I absolutely signed Jenny Silver's petition. I encourage all of you watching to sign Jenny Silver's petition. Also, tweet at the governor, tweet at Gavin Newsom, use hashtag #ExtendEDD. I shared her petition on my Facebook message boards for unemployment. I made a TikTok about her petition. I linked it in one of my community posts on YouTube. I am trying to use all of my platforms. I think I sent it out via Twitter. Yeah, I did send it out via Twitter. Every platform that I am on, that I am active on, I have let people know about Jenny Silver's petition. And of course, I signed it. And her petition is to try and at least gain attention to the fact that we need these benefits extended and that we need the EDD to come out and like make a statement about whether they will be extending it or not, and to get Gavin Newsom to make a statement about whether he is going to extend it or not. Curly says, "What's going on with the petition to stop a possible bill going into law for California mandating vaccines?" I don't know anything about that right now. Karina says, "Why is my account locked?" That happens occasionally. Are you getting like the AXOOO error? If so, hit "I forgot password" and then just reset your password and then you should be able to get in. Yes, Elizabeth, Golden State stimulus is for earned income. So if you only got money from unemployment benefits, unfortunately, you would not qualify for the Golden State stimulus or the Golden State stimulus 2. Hi, EDD Edgar. Will we still get paid for the week ending September 4th? Yes, as long as you're eligible. Even if you don't certify until the 5th, you will still get paid for that week. Okay. Again, I'm skipping around in the comments. Slap said, "I just talked to an EDD claim specialist calling for my mom using Claimer just right now." And I said, "I can speak to a claims." And she said, "I am." And she helped me really fast. That is great. SL says, "People aren't in a rush to run back out to find a job. People who were vaccinated are getting COVID. It's sad." I agree. What was I wearing on Friday? Did I look a mess? No, I looked okay. I don't know, my pants fit weird. I'm big, so I'm, like, always nervous. Please say hi. I am sometimes busy, but, like, I love meeting you guys. Hopefully I was nice when you when you saw me, because sometimes I am busy and then I worry about that. Charles said, even if my main job isn't listed as an independent contractor, can you get unemployment? So unemployment is traditionally for people who have a W-2 job. So it's going to primarily use your income from your W-2 job. And if you have not lost your primary W-2 job, then you potentially would not qualify for unemployment benefits. Thank you for the compliment on my shirt. I actually got this a long time ago, but I really like it. Joseph, you should have said hello. Okay, Dan says Golden State Stimulus 2 requirements don't specify. Oh, you know what? You know what? I think you're right. I think that got revised. I think Jenny Silver told me that. It's going to be possible. Go on in the video where I talk about the Golden State Stimulus. Use the estimator. There's a link to the estimator in the description of that video. Use that. Yeah, I do think that Jenny Silver was like, hey, did you see it showed that you can have $0 in income? And I said, no, I didn't see that. I'll read it later. And then I never did. So yeah, check that out. Use the Golden State Stimulus calculator, because I do think that they may have just changed the earnings requirement so that you can qualify if it's at $0. Okay, Lori says, stop letting the government have control using fear. The media is lying. It's the mirror flu. I don't know. Many people have lost people. But yeah, always do your research, but trust reliable sources. Try and read as much as you can so that you can make the best choices for yourself. All right. Mr. Got Us Rich says, will I not get paid for that 1 week and the next week I will get paid? Uh-oh. That's part of a different question. Okay. Lauren says, do you know if anyone has any letters or updates on that proof of employment for PUA? I haven't gotten anything other than my benefits are ending. You may be asked to supply the letter. Yeah, I have not heard of anyone getting those letters yet. So I wouldn't worry. Those are still coming. That is good that you pointed that out. So for PUA, you do still need to provide proof of employment or like intent to have started employment or a job offer letter. We don't know what California's full list of acceptable documents will be, but even if they don't send you that letter and tell you how to upload those documents until well after you're not even getting paid anymore, you still need to supply those. So even if you're not collecting anymore, you're still going to be asked to submit those documents. So make sure that you do that. Make sure that if you have received conditional payments, that you're still ready to do your phone interview whenever the EDD may eventually get around to calling you. All right. Rich GM says he's just stopping by to say hello and go 49ers. Okay, so I'm going to do Rolanda's question, and then I think this is going to be the last one for the day. Rolanda says, will PEUC Tier 2 be extended after September 4th? Was on a regular claim from the start with W-2. No, September 4th is going to be the last date to get paid for the week ending September 4th for PEUC and any of the extensions. Okay. John Gia says, go Raiders. Oh, Mr. Got You Rich was saying that I put the wrong zip code on my EDD certification. Do you know what I should do? See if it gets paid anyway. If it gets flagged, if it gets stuck on pending, call the reps and just let them know. And then if that doesn't work, you would have to let the assembly member know and have them help you get that fixed. Okay. I am going to take off for the day. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next time.